In a bustling compound located in the center of Lagos, two women, Mama Hella and Mama Peter, resided next to one another. Their homes were adjacent and they were as close as relatives. Despite raising their children differently, they were the best of friends. Mama Hella enforced strict rules. She favored discipline and organization, while Mama Peter was relaxed and laid back. She rarely lost a temper. Both women toiled hard as traders and dedicated most of their days at the market. This resulted in their children, Ella and Peter, often being on their own. The two youngsters grew up like siblings at 12 years old. They were inseparable, sharing secrets, completing homework, and playing in the compound. Their laughter filled the yard one evening during dinner. Peter said to his mom, "Mama, I need a phone. All my classmates have one. I feel excluded." Mama Peter altered, eating a phone. "Peter, don't you think you're too young for that?" "But Mama, it's not only for fun. I can utilize it to study." So Peter replied, gazing at her with large hopeful eyes. Mama Peter sighed. She was uncertain if he was prepared for her phone. But then she had an idea. "If you achieve first place in your class, this time I'll buy you a phone, but only if you demonstrate. You deserve it." Peter's face brightened from that moment. He worked harder than ever. He devoted hours to studying and completing his homework. Even Ella took notice. "You're really focused on this phone, aren't you?" she teased one evening while they tackled math together. "I'll prove to Mama I can succeed," Peter stated with a confident grin. When the term concluded, Peter hurried home with his report card. He beamed so widely. "Mama, look, first position," he exclaimed proudly. Mama Peter was overjoyed. She embraced him tight and said, "I'm proud of you. I'll keep my word." And she did. She purchased him a shiny new iPhone. It was beyond what Peter had ever envisioned. He was so thrilled. The phone rapidly became Peter's favorite possession. He played games, watched cartoons, and discovered the internet. Ella frequently accompanied him, and they spent hours giggling at humorous videos and exchanging games. One bright afternoon, Peter and Ella were engaged with the phone in his room. "Let's explore what else we can discover," Peter suggested while scrolling through apps. "Yeah," Ella responded, her eyes shining with curiosity. The phone appeared to possess limitless possibilities. Peter and Ella's naive curiosity led them to areas they didn't completely grasp. Their adventure was about to take an unexpected turn. One quiet afternoon, while their mothers were at the market, Peter and Ella were in his room as usual. Peter was scrolling through his phone, browsing apps and videos. Ella sat next to him, observing. Suddenly, Peter halted. "What's this?" He has clicked on an icon he hadn't seen. Prior, the screen was filled with thumbnails or videos that appeared different from the typical cartoons and games they had enjoyed piqued Peter's interest, so he clicked on one. The video started playing, featuring adults behaving in ways the children couldn't comprehend. Ella leaned in closer, her face scrunched in confusion. "What are they doing?" she whispered. "I think it's something that adults do," Peter replied slowly. "I've heard older boys at school discuss things like this." Ella's cheeks flushed red. "Should we be watching this? It feels just wrong." "It's just a video," Peter stated, though his voice faltered. "We're not doing anything bad," but both felt uncomfortable. When the video concluded, instead of stopping, Peter clicked on another. The strangeness of the videos intrigued them, even if they didn't completely understand what they were viewing. "Let's not tell anyone about this," Peter suggested finally. "It's our secret." Ella hesitated but nodded. A part of her wanted to inform her mother, but she knew how strict Mama Ella was. She didn't want to risk the punishment. After that, things shifted when the mothers went to the market. Peter and Ella locked themselves in his room to view more of the unusual videos. The laughter that used to fill the compound was replaced with soft whispers and secretive glances. Weeks passed and their secret began to affect their friendship. They stopped playing outside and completing homework together. Everything now centered around the videos. One day, Ella broke the silence. Do you think it's bad that we're watching these videos? She inquired softly. Peter appeared uneasy. It's just videos, Ella. We're not doing anything wrong. But what if Mama finds out? Ella asked, her voice trembling. She won't, Peter said firmly. We just have to keep it a secret. Ella nodded, but she couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. Then one day, she said something that startled Peter. What if we try doing what they're doing in the videos? Peter froze. What? No, that's not a good idea, Ella. Why not? Ella asked. If adults do it, maybe we'll understand it better. Peter shook his head. I don't think it's right. What if we get caught? But Ella wouldn't let it go. Her curiosity was stronger than her anxiety. She continued to ask until Peter eventually relented. The first time they attempted, it didn't go well. Ella experienced a sharp pain and instructed Peter to halt. She fled the room in tears, and for days she avoided him, refusing to speak or even glance at him. Peter felt awful. He was unsure how to rectify the situation. Eventually, at school, he located her and said, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have consented. Ella se detuvo, pero luego asintió. Está bien, olvidémonos de ello. They resumed their conversation, but their friendship had changed since then. Then one day, Ella caught him off guard by saying, I think we should try again, she stated directly. Peter gazed at her. What? No, Ella, the last time was a disaster. This time will be different, Ella interjected. Please, Peter, don't let me down. Peter's heart sank. He was reluctant to agree but also didn't want to disappoint Ella, so he consented. One day after school, Peter and Ella stayed behind in an empty classroom. The school was still, as most of the students and teachers had already left. Ella looked at Peter resolutely. Are you certain about this? Peter whispered anxiously, glancing around, as in, we should be quick, no one will discover us. They sneaked into the school restroom, their hearts racing with fear and anticipation. Just as they were about to attempt what they had observed in the videos, they heard footsteps in the hallway. Someone is approaching. Peter hastily grasped Ella's arm. They panicked and fled in separate directions. It was the school security guard making his routine rounds. Fortunately, he didn't spot them, but the near miss left them frightened. That evening, while their mothers were still at work, Ella turned to Peter. We need to try again, this time at home. Peter hesitated. I don't know, Ella. What if someone catches us? No one is here, Ella insisted, and moms won't be back for hours. Reluctantly, Peter consented. They entered his room and locked the door, but before they could begin, the front door opened. Peter, are you home? Mama! Peter called out. Peter and Ella tensed, their faces turning pale. Mama! Peter's footstep approached, and she knocked on the door. Peter, why is this door locked? They scrambled to hide what they were doing. When Mama Peter entered, her keen eyes scanned the room. She noticed the anxious expressions. What's happening here? She asked cheerfully. Ella fixed her gaze on the floor, too frightened to say anything. Peter stuttered, trying to formulate an excuse, but Mama Peter wasn't convinced. Both of you sit down, she commanded. Now tell me the truth. The children exchanged anxious looks, knowing they couldn't deceive her any longer. Their voices shaky, they disclosed everything about the videos, their curiosity, and what they had attempted to do. Mama Peter listened in disbelief. Her heart plummeted. She felt guilty. How had she not noticed this? Had she been too focused on work? Taking a deep breath, she said, Stay here. I need to speak with Mama Ella. She went to Ella's house and told her everything. Mama Ella was shocked. Her face turned pale. This is all Ella's fault, she said angrily. She's leading Peter astray. No, Mama, Peter said firmly. It's not only Ella. Both of them are involved. We need to address this together as mothers. Mama Hella sighed. Her usual strictness transformed into concern. What do we do? She asked softly. We need to talk to them, Mama Peter said, and we need to seek them, help, therapy, counseling, whatever it takes to guide them. The two mothers returned to Peter's house. They sat the children down and clarified why the videos were harmful and why their actions were inappropriate. They spoke gently but assertively. The children could sense their mother's disappointment after that day. Everything changed. Mama Hella eased her strict approach. She spent additional time with Ella, attempting to build trust. Mama Peter also transformed. She began guiding Peter, more recognizing her leniency had left him without proper boundaries. Both families sought professional assistant therapy, aided Peter and Ella in understanding why their actions were damaging, and taught them to make wiser choices. But despite the efforts to remedy the situation, the bond between the families was never the same. Mama Hella chose to relocate to another state, hoping to provide Ella a fresh start. As the moving truck departed, Peter observed from the compound, feeling a mix of sorrow and relief. He had learned a difficult lesson, one he would never forget. Moral of the story: parents ought to spend time with their kids, discuss safe phone use with them, and educate them about the hazards of certain content. Phones can be beneficial tools, but they should only be given when a child is mature enough to manage them responsibly. What do you think? At what age should children receive their first phone? Let us know in the comments section. Thanks for watching. Do not forget like, share and subscribe.